Hello everyone, this is Sriram here from ShriLearning. I have Swetha in front of me from South Korea. And she cleared PMP recently, pretty excited, happy. Is it so, Swetha?
Yes, definitely. It's been very relaxing now
Relax.
after completing the
That's
exam.
true. That's true. You feel like you go for a vacation right now after the exam? You need a holiday?
I would love to, but my work doesn't allow me to take a vacation
Yes,
right
yes.
now.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
reason is because I took a lot of holidays and break between.
for the
So
preparation.
maybe I think I have to fill up those gaps.
So here is a certificate of Swetha. She cleared on 7th of February. I'm sure it's a very important date in her life. But again, there are a lot of story behind this. We're going to listen to that. Before that, first, congratulations, Swetha, for this achievement.
Thank you so much, Sriram.
Great.
Thank you.
Great. So there are viewers watching this video. These are the viewers who want to go for exam or want to start the preparation. Okay. The people who are viewing this video could be close to the exam or yet to prepare for the exam. So we're going to give some information which will help them. To kickstart, how is it the overall journey for you? Would you call it as a big journey because after academics, I believe now only we'll be sitting for exam like this. So how is it for your
Yes.
experience?
Um, to be to define it just in one word, it maybe two words. It's a roller coaster ride
Okay.
because it's been almost 14 years. I finished my academic year and then starting up reading and taking up the course. It was a whole journey, which I had to go along with my family to
Okay.
get the certificate. So, well, there were a lot of discipline, confidence, and dedication that I had to implement it to 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 get this to write the exam, not to get the certificate, probably to write the exam and then get the certificate. So um, I had to spend my weekends. I had to plan it accordingly because I do have a child at home. So it wasn't easy as how it was for the others.
Mm.
But with that, somehow I did manage to survive through the journey and get the certificate.
Okay, I got that term roller coaster, right? Really interesting. It's not easy when we are in a job and have a family at this age, sitting and reading for ourselves. Time allocation is a big challenge. The people who are listening right now would know that, yeah, it's not easy. So, what kind of strategy was in your mind while you're preparing for the exam?
Well, my I came up during the June batch. I started your course during the June batch. That was last year. Um, I I really wanted to understand what was the PMP and what
Mhm.
was the learning structure that we had to follow. That was basically not available previously before joining the call. But then thereafter, I went through all your course and I managed to read through the books that you had planned. You had given us the planning. I followed the planning. But then, even with the planning and execution, I couldn't meet up the margin of the target.
Mm.
Or how do I say? I couldn't meet up the scores that you actually had mentioned that this is what you have to score.
Mm.
The reason why I was not doing is because I didn't have that PMP mindset, which is
Mm.
very important. I always used to analyze things based on my experience, but not as a PMP mindset, which I think that was one of the key tip that I really learned from you while I was preparing for the exam at the time of exam. That's when I realized, okay, that is not the mindset. We are doing something differently, which is not according to the PMI standards. Probably we have to start implementing what PMI standards are and then answer those questions. So
Mm.
that did really help me.
That makes a real valuable point. You rightly said that we have to switch that gear to that mindset. It is not easy, you know that, because we are day to day working Monday to Friday like that. Suddenly, when you read on Saturday, Sunday, you have to change your way. It's a little tricky there, but good. You realize that and you mentioned the point correctly. Now, the people listening to this video primarily want to know how the exam is or was. Okay. So now I know your exam had a good amount of journey. You and me know that we had a conversation about it. You want to talk about exam experience, or before getting to the exam, what we should be ready enough, because you are from South Korea. We know international market. There are different ways of different vendors are conducting the exams. So what was your challenge? How you went to this exam?
So I did a center-based exam, but previously I actually wanted to do an online exam. But then apparently the online exam in South Korea is quite different, and it's provided by a service vendor who is known as ATA. Well, they are the only vendor who provides an online service. But then when we book the online service, it clearly says that the questions or the exams are all only in Korean, with an English tab in it where you can switch it into English. So you know the amount of time that would take to just click it to each question to an English and answer it. That wouldn't be feasible for all of us. But this is only available with the only one vendor. Pearson View doesn't have an online service. They only provide the exam base, the
Center.
service
Mm.
center base. Yes. So that was the only option that I had. So initially, I couldn't do that, and I had to pay extra for that because I had to cancel my exam that was scheduled, which then I had to reschedule. Again, rescheduling each, we aren't free to select each day. Every month has at least 1 day or 2 days in the calendar. So
Mm.
I have to choose either of it. So that was something that what I learned. But yes, what I've learned is that in South Korea and Japan, it is quite different because of the language.
Mm.
So people who's taking the exam, uh, I would suggest ask them to check with the Pearson
Yeah.
customer care before registering or scheduling the exam.
Yeah, I think that's a very valuable point, because when we are in a different country, we don't realize it. We thought everything will be in English, so there are chances it could be regional language. That's a valuable point, but that gives a good amount of energy pull up and down. You have a date in your mind, then you have to reschedule it, find a new date. Was it a little crazy, a little tough?
It was initially, but then I had a gap that was between the New Year and
Mhm.
I had a holiday, a week holiday, and then we had a Chinese New Year here.
Mm.
So I had a tremendous amount of vacation there that I could cope up myself and start taking the exam back.
Okay, okay.
So
You
it
converted the
was
risk
good.
into advantage.
Yes.
Okay, that's nice. It was useful to prepare. So now, before I go and talk about your exam, as such, how the exam is, when you do the practice exams, how was your confidence level?
So initially, my score was all 58, 59% with the full mock test. But then I reached out to you, and then you mentioned that it may be that you have to analyze your gap and then do it individually. Take what is it? Those 40
Yeah,
questions or the
shorter test.
knowledge. Yeah. So
Mhm.
shorter test and analyze them, and then go back to the longer test. But then I saw people always commenting that they are improving better and better,
Mm.
but my score always were around 62 to 63. But
Mm.
then I think I literally took 8 exams, 8 full mock tests.
Wow.
Uh, but yeah, but uh, I was confident, but then I realized that I'm just excited as well as anxious because of the time.
Mm.
And that actually triggered my how do I say it? That triggered me to do it fast and not analyze it properly. So maybe that was the reason. But then later when I spoke to you, eventually you told me the score doesn't matter. It is how you analyze those questions and answer, take the right choice is what is important. So there are different techniques, like you said, elimination technique, reading the keywords, reading what process it is, reading who is that question addressed to. So those are the key points that I actually kept in mind and start analyzing them.
Nice. Good. Then the confidence level started going high and you're ready for the exam.
Yes, I wasn't worried about the score, but then I wanted to ensure that I read the question and answer it correctly.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Now let us talk something about the exam, which is a big day.
Yes.
So you went to a center. So you can tell about your experience of the exam.
So I went to the center and I went half an hour earlier to the center, and we were not allowed to take any electronics. They asked us to turn off all the electronics and even the learning materials. We couldn't sit there and read the materials. So I had to turn off the electronics and place them in the locker that they provided, and went into the test. And they checked personally, they checked everything, all the ID, they checked physically to see if there is any piece that we could use it. So they did every thorough review, and then they allowed me into the center. Uh, so when I went into the center to the exam, I had to review the 30 minutes, 15 to 30 minutes of how this screen would work, what are those highlight and strike, all those that were there that I could, they gave me a chance to review it. So I went through that process, and then 2:30 was when I started with 2:30 minutes. So initially, the first 60 questions, it was, how do I say it? The questions were long. It was at least 3 to 4 line questions, and most of these choices were very close to each other. So I had to analyze each and everything and then do it slowly. So even with analyzing, I actually, with first 60 questions, I finished it somewhere around 160, 165. So that was very close. And then I took a 10 minutes break. And then I went back and I said, okay, this is not how I'm going to do it. I just have to use the highlighter and the strike that's available. Just highlighted, okay, what is this? Agile? What process is it talking? Okay. Who is the situation? Is it talking about the project manager or a scrum master? I just had to highlight and understand the situation and then use the elimination technique. I literally had to just do it without analyzing, speeding up. So that was the next 60. But then after that, I was just left with 58 minutes for the next 60 questions. But okay, I went back, took 10 minutes break. I went back and then I said, okay, I just have 58 minutes. Somehow I have to just mark some of those answers, just reading the last statement in the question and just strike out which is not feasible. So escalation is no, and and something that is putting the team down, no. So always encouraging them and supporting them, understanding what the conflicts. So based on what I learned is what I had to highlight those things.
Yeah, so this goes back to seeing the PMI way of answering. In a sense, you look out the project manager roles, you look out for the PMI ethics to tell taking responsibility, being fair, right? I think that's what you would have used there.
Exactly. Yes.
Perfect. That's
And
nice.
then luckily, I managed to do it very soon enough. I was just left with 5 more minutes.
Ah,
And then I had flagged out 2 questions. So I went back and finished it. But then I was okay, I'm done. And the other important thing was we had this voice canceller,
nice.
uh, noise canceller, sorry. So we had to wear that. And I could hear my heart beating at every question. So, okay. It was very tough question. I mean, not tough exam, but then it was just general knowledge, like you said. You did prepare me while going to the exam. You did say you need to have that knowledge. You need to understand the mindset and apply the apply the basic knowledge and answer those questions.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Thanks a lot for sharing that experience. While we're listening, I can feel I'm in the exam hall with you. That too, when you hear a heartbeat, the last 5 minutes will be the so heavy time, right?
Correct, correct.
When you click the submit button, the cursor will keep running. You'll be like, what's the result going to come?
It did say that you passed the certificate, but then I was not 100% sure. And then the lady over there came down to close the thing. I just asked her, okay, have I passed this exam? So she said, sorry, we can't reveal this until we give you the paper. So I was like, okay.
That too, when they give a paper, they don't give it straight. They'll fold it other side and give
Exactly,
it to you. Only you can see the
exactly,
result.
exactly. But then it's so funny when they take the print out, they have to see it.
They don't see it. They
But
don't
I
know.
don't know. They don't see it.
Yeah, they don't see. It's something
Okay.
like some centers are so lenient and free, but as per the
Mm,
Pearson norms and rules, they should not talk anything about the exam before the exam. After the exam, also they should not. They'll be like a so machine. They will not show smile in their face. They'll be like very mechanically. They'll do the job. That's what they're meant to do. But anyway, we are
correct.
in a urge to know. Guys, tell me, did I pass the exam? That's a good experience. Good experience. Nice to know, Shweta. Nice to know. But I can see the thrill what you had till the last minute. Maybe the viewers will be pretty interested. You said you good experience you have. What industry you work for?
So I work for clinical research,
Mm,
a CRO company.
mm.
We are purely into predictive
Ah,
uh,
okay.
methodology. Yes.
Mm,
Uh, Agile was interesting for me to learn about that. But yes, there are few things that we may not be able to adapt the full agile methodology,
right.
but then we could use some of those events, the process that are followed.
Yeah,
That can probably help us. Yeah,
the way of thinking in Agile, where you
correct.
give more thought process for the team to work. Rather, one person deciding, whole team will decide. I think that's a mindset. Fantastic. Well said. Well said. So now you are cleared the exam. Happy mode. Now you are in the right place to give advice to people. So,
Exactly. If I have to tell my experience, what I learned and what I'm actually doing right now
hmm,
is is very relative. For an example, I had a situation with a stakeholder who's very resistant, and my team is working towards a goal, and it has a very fixed timeline,
hmm,
and it's very fixed, and the client is not ready to change it.
hmm,
So what I'm going to do? So I always used to read these book, and I finally felt that if I keep motivating my team, removing those impediments and encouraging or getting the stakeholder involved at every step,
hmm.
making them understand what I am doing is actually helping me. And it really did help me. And my team is really doing well with that.
PMI won the game. So they helped us to learn and apply it. That's beautiful.
Correct.
That's beautiful. Thanks for sharing that experience. So now there are many men and women preparing for this PMP examination. Everyone has their own, I have commitment to my job, I have commitment to my family. So if you want to tell them what kind of thoughts you want to give to them for the preparation, so speed up the preparation.
So basically, it is good to have knowledge. The knowledge is very important for us to answer any question. And most importantly, getting the mindset as per the PMI and not as per how we are working. If we are working differently from the PMI standard, that's definitely not going to help us, even if we have the knowledge. So it's very important to have the PMI mindset and the knowledge. With that knowledge and practice, especially with those questions, is very important. Initially, you told us during the course, you asked us to practice it, take the questions and practice it. But I couldn't do that because I didn't have that knowledge. So I had to initially wait, understand what the book says, and then probably take it. But then eventually I realized, yes, the practice is most important.
Well said. Well said. Right. That's beautiful. So reading is very important. Learning is very important. Learn from the PMI perspective. Some of the examples could be from our day-to-day job also. We cannot deny that. And top of that, practicing questions, analyzing the questions important. And also look into the exam booking process. Don't take it for granted. Check which vendor it is, what language the exam is going to be. Because if not, last minute surprise, or I believe you have to pay more money, isn't it? You did.
Correct.
It means the 2 times you paid the exam fee.
I had to pay the cancellation fee.
The charges are coming in. Yeah. So people working in some of the countries where the English is not predominant, be a little watchful. That's, I think, the message. All right, good. After all, there is a great celebration. So who all supported you from your family for your exam?
Both my husband and my daughter.
Nice.
My daughter, my husband used to take her away every weekend to some places so that I get some time to read.
Okay.
And then the day when I got my the scores, I told my scores to my husband. My husband was very happy, and my daughter just came in and said, "Wow, you're not going to sit next to the computer anymore. You're going to spend some time with me."
You're right. That's so nice. And again, I think it's inspire her as well, looking at how mom is reading and preparing. That's good. Now you can walk proud. Hey, I've done something. And I believe in your office as well, people recognize how PMP is viewed in South Korea.
Well, I haven't seen the demand as how we see in India or the other region.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because of the cultural difference, or maybe people are not aware of the PMI. I did see some people come. How do I say, they post on the Pearson View about the PMI, but not majorly many. So, but it's good to take. In this competitive world, it's very important for us to establish our competency.
As you said, now you work with your stakeholders closely and the results are coming up well, and somebody will reach out to you. By the way, may I know your qualification? Then you'll tell PMP. What is that? There are some countries, they have the PMI, PMP, but still their own country have the way of learning. So they don't go for American model of learning. After some time, people realize that this guy works something different, the quality is different. Then they question, oh, okay, you learned that. Okay. So it all happens. Nice to know. Superb, Swetha. So first thing, thanks a lot for coming up here to share your experience, because sharing experience is must needed for the people who are preparing. Something like you, they're also struggling. When you did 1 year exam preparation, that can be useful for them. That's a message. Any other information pops up for you want to tell to people?
Just follow what Sriram say. Follow his guidance, and if they have any trouble, he has a very good team back who can support us anytime, and they're very dedicated as well. That's more than enough. I think they will definitely reach through.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Great. Thanks a lot, Swetha, for this great time and great message. And thanks for all the viewers watching this video. You can give your wishes and comments to Swetha, and you can even ask questions, anything towards the exam. We'll be happy to help you back. And good wishes, Swetha. Apply what you learned and be a great successful in your career.
Thank you. Thank you so much.